I'm Jeremy from Rockland Wheels, today with the Honda NC750. This is probably one of the most misunderstood bikes and one of the least appreciated bikes for what it has to offer. The NC750 took from all kinds of different motorcycles, from adventure touring, from sport bikes, from touring bikes, jammed it into one and offered consumers the ultimate urban vehicle, the ultimate bike for commuters, and really putting everything in a package that makes it very attractive to drive this bike every day. One of the things that is offered on this bike, which is kind of a Honda thing, is a DCT transmission. So that is a dual clutch transmission. Not to be confused with automatic. Yes, you put it in drive. No, you do not need to shift the gears. So in theory, it's automatic, but a dual clutch transmission is the quickest way to shift any vehicle anytime. It's found in the most exotic of cars, the hypercars, the supercars, the Porsche turbo cars. If it shifts the quickest, it's a dual clutch transmission. To break it down and explain it, the easiest way would be in a traditional automatic transmission or in a traditional manual transmission. We'll pull the clutch, we'll go from one gear to the next, we'll let go of the clutch. And essentially the automatic transmission does the same, but for you. The dual clutch transmission has two different clutches. So if my first clutch is in first gear, the second clutch is already engaged in second gear, and you're switching clutches, not gears. So you audibly hear it, but you don't feel it. Even on the downshifts or on the upshifts, it's completely seamless. So it does not take away anything from the experience. If anything, it adds. And if you're gonna drive in traffic, this is really the way to go. It's always gonna find that right gear for you. So adding to versatility, this is really almost a Swiss Army knife. So we have nice and easy to put a tank bag on here, but this is a really cool trick that the NC750 has to offer. Look at this huge trunk in the place of where a gas tank would be. This is capable of fitting a full-size helmet, groceries, your lunch, or anything else you might have to throw at it, right in the front of the bike. To compensate for this, they put the fuel tank at the back of the bike. And we empty it, we fill it up right from under the seat. This also accomplishes another thing, which is to keep the center of gravity really low. If you look at the engine on this, the 750 engine, it's mounted super low on the bike and almost vertical, like really keeping that mass low. And that engine is based off of a Honda Jazz, which we don't have a car, and it's almost split in two. So it offers quite a bit of grunt, quite a bit of reliability, but for a bike that is tall on its feet, the center of gravity is extremely low. Making it easy to maneuver, making it easy to drive. And this is the X family of Honda, which you'd see the 500X, or you would see the Africa Twins and stuff fall in there, which would lend itself to think of this as an adventure bike. And yes, it does have that long suspension, the long travel suspension that you expect from those motorcycles, but I think that really lends itself well, and they've learned off these adventure bikes that the long suspension also translates into a super comfortable ride. And the adventure seating position is very relaxed, and we've got a bend in our elbows and our legs are straight up and down. So this is a bike that could really be driven every day, commuted and everything, and it's just gonna be a fantastic ride. Something that is where people aren't appreciating this motorcycle. If you're a commuter, this is the bike you wanna do it on. Our controls here on the DCT version are not that much more complex. First, you're not going to be able to grab a clutch because there is no clutch. And then we have our shifter here. So from neutral to drive to sport. And sport will let us shift the gears ourselves. So we've got a plus and minus here. And it's going to be instantly responsive. Other than that, we also have the use of a parking brake. Being that we can't leave it in gear, that is equipped there. The gauge package on this too is also very nice, and a very modern style of gauge. So increasing those colors of our RPM, we've got our speed, we've got our fuel gauge, but giving it that modern feel, and that gauge is very high up, so you're not pulling your eyes off the road when you're looking at them. It's just a nice display. true to form, this bike is equipped with ABS, fantastic brakes front and back, and to help on the late night commutes, it's got LED lights.
So letting that DCT do its thing, and just finding that right gear. It's a smooth bike. There's something very subtle about this bike. It's not polarizing to any really particular riding. It does what you wouldn't expect it to do. It definitely handles properly. It doesn't feel like a giraffe. Yet it soaks up the bump like an adventure bike would. This is not necessarily smooth roads, yet this bike makes them seem like amazing roads. This is definitely nice. And this road that I'm riding on right now is fairly rough, but the NC doesn't let me feel that roughness. It smooths it all out for you. I can see how commuting with this bike would just be a joy. Just make your life easy.
Being a parallel twin, this bike has a little bit of a growl to it.